Happy Tuesday and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the September 16th meeting of the Rotary Club of North Jackson. Now I'd like to invite Uriel to lead us in prayer and pledge.
Let us pray. Eternal God, we come before you mindful of a world filled with both sorrow and hope. We grieve the loss of innocent life and the divisions that wound our communities. As Rotarians, we also reaffirm our calling to live by the four-way test, to seek the truth, to be fair to all, to build goodwill and better friendship, and to serve in ways that are beneficial to all. Let us turn away from the words or actions that divide and instead strengthen us to be instruments of compassion, fairness, and understanding. We give thanks to the fellowship gathered here and for the continual opportunities to serve others. May we, through Rotary, be the reminder that unity and kindness are stronger than violence or discord. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test for the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Uriel. I don't believe we have any visiting Rotarians today. Rotarian with guests. Would you please introduce your guest if there are any? No Rotarians with guests. Okay, now I'll call upon Don to announce our birthdays and anniversaries.
Well, we have some today. Celebrating birthdays this week are past President Lee Carney Brown today, and past President Matt Monsoor will be celebrating his this coming Saturday. We have 3 wedding anniversaries this week. Murray and T.K. Harris are celebrating theirs on Thursday the 18th. Joe and Maybelle Dove, who've been married a while, are celebrating theirs on Thursday the 18th also. And Stanley and Connie Simpson will celebrate theirs next Monday on the 22nd. This week we have no members with anniversaries. So let's give everyone with a birthday or an wedding anniversary a round of applause. Yes. We recognized you last week. Were you here? Were you attending? Okay. Yeah.
Go look at the video online.
Well, we're all familiar with the afterglow. But yes, well, a belated happy birthday. He did. I complimented him on his shirt, which I told him I would like, even if it didn't say state. And he told me that it was a brand new birthday. First time he had worn it, that it was a birthday present from his son. Yeah. So anyway, is that enough recognition? Yeah. Okay. Good. Just checking.
Get my name in a minute.
All right, moving along, it's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Langston Moore currently serves as project manager for the Mississippi Lung Cancer Roundtable. It's a consortium of public, private, and voluntary organizations that work together to fight lung cancer by engaging in research and awareness projects that no one organization can take on alone. His responsibility is educating Mississippians about the importance of an annual lung screening, and he does this by meeting with groups, providers, survivors, and others. He spent the last 20 plus years working in the nonprofit sector. He began his nonprofit career advocating for a statewide smoke-free air ordinance in public areas. Although the measure did not pass, his work led to assisting municipalities and counties to work with local tobacco advocates to pass local smoke-free air ordinances. He then led the communications department for a statewide tobacco education and youth advocacy agency on the dangers of tobacco use, and later began with e-cigarettes. He spent the last 8 years working in food insecurity and food access. His role with his organization has brought him back to his original passion for serving others through health and wellness education. He and his wife Lisa reside in Northeast Jackson. They're active members of St. Luke's United Methodist Church and have one adult son and one spoiled 6-month-old puppy. So join me and give Langston Moore a warm North Jackson Rotary welcome.
Well, it's good to be here today. I think I was here about 4 or 5 years ago speaking on food insecurity. And I'd like to start out by saying it's so good to see some familiar faces, that we've spent many seasons with our friendships. I won't say how long for some of us. But Jeff and I actually used to work for the state auditor, Phil Bryant. And Phil would usually start his speech by saying, "I'll be brief no matter how long it takes." However, I'm very used to speaking at Rotary, and I know it's how you guys operate. So, you're going to have to give me a minute with this mouse. There we go. It's very sensitive, too. So, the Lung Cancer Roundtable is a collaborative of lung survivors, caregivers, public health practitioners, anybody interested in eradicating lung cancer. We're proud to have Dr. Pierre De Delva from UMMC as our chair of the roundtable. And just for some history or some context, I tell people I work for the roundtable, but I'm actually employed by UMMC. So we house the grant that is the actual roundtable. Our mission is to reduce the incidence and impact of mortality of lung cancer in Mississippi. And we want to develop a collaborative of patients, caregivers, anybody who's interested in eradicating lung cancer in Mississippi. So our leadership is Jonathan Hotstas. Jonathan is my direct report. I report to Jonathan. He is an advocate. He's an expert in lung screenings and pulmonary. And Jay Thompson is my cohort, and he basically manages the grant, but he'll also be out in speaking engagements. And there I am, and I'm also a project manager. This was a picture of me that I had to use quickly, and my wife would usually be on my right, but I had to crop her out. So we work very closely with the American Cancer Society, as you can imagine. Amy Ellis and I have worked together for probably 15 years on different projects. She's very passionate about this issue. So where did we begin? Well, in 2021, biomarker testing was done in ECHO, which is the Extension for Community Healthcare Outcomes. A steering committee was formed, and the ECHO participants transferred into the Lung Cancer Roundtable. And we established leaders like Dr. DeVelva and Jonathan, and formed work groups. Each work group has goals. Current membership is actually about 420, but for some reason this slide is being stubborn, and I can't change it, so just for your knowledge. So why did we begin? We began to...
Can you go back to the previous slide?
Maybe.
The footnote is not...
Yeah. So basically, biomarker is material in the body that can be measured that shows the biological state of the body. And by the way, I went to school for 6 years. I feel like I could have been a doctor, but I have an undergrad, so I'm not a medical person. That's why I write all these notes. So we want to reduce the incidence of lung cancer in Mississippi, and again, develop collaborative of patients, caregivers, survivors especially, to lead in this fight. So here's kind of the snapshot of what we look like. You have the roundtable cancer leaders, which is the pictures you saw, the steering committee that was formed, recruitment, which is something I'm kind of doing now. I'll ask you at the end if you want to join. There's no dues, there's no fees, you don't dance with snakes or anything of that nature. We also have tobacco cessation, and that's actually coming from UMMC out of the ACT Center, and I work in that building at the Cancer Center. But I'll pause real quick and just dive into this a second. Our ACT Center in Mississippi is one of the best in the country, and we're the only ones that do face-to-face counseling. They come into our office if they want to. We do phone counseling because people in Boonville or wherever that may lack transportation or it's just too far to come, we welcome phone counseling. And of course, what I'm talking to you today is lung cancer screening, which I'll dive deeper into that once I set this up. Survivorship, of course, and team-based care. So some facts about lung cancer. Lung cancer is the second most common form of cancer, but it's the leading cancer causing death in the United States. Every 2 minutes, someone in the United States learns they have lung cancer. I was affected by cancer, but not lung cancer. I lost my dad 23 years ago. If diagnosed early, I'm going to say this a lot, there's a 64% chance of surviving for 5 years or more. Early detection is the key. Mississippi is almost 70% higher in annual new cases. We're below average, imagine that, for survival rates, at a click of 6% higher. Lung cancer claims the lives of more than 1,580 Mississippians each year. And what I say about this stat is you think about how rural Mississippi is, that's basically could wipe out an entire town. That's how many people that is. And lung cancer is diagnosed in those who have never used tobacco is increasing. And I'll talk about some environmental things here in a second of what's causing that. So pretty much all of us know about what causes lung cancer. Of course, the number one is smoking. We have vaping. However, I will say, in the grand scheme of things, vaping is kind of new. I mean, it's been around for 15, 20 years, but you talk about that compared to smoking. So they're still really testing and studying and figuring out what exactly effects vaping has as far as lung cancer is concerned. But do know that you're getting a straight shot of nicotine in a vape and other chemicals just like in cigarettes. Environmental exposures such as radon, which I'll get into, if you've had prior radiation therapy, and then of course other lung cancer diseases. And the big one, for the most part, is family history. That's right there with smoking. What will prevent lung cancer? Well, of course, avoid smoking. Minimize your exposure to secondhand smoke and radon. Radon is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas, and it's caused by the decay of uranium. And it's pretty much everywhere in our atmosphere. And there are radon tests, if you're interested in doing that I think are relatively inexpensive. And of course, eating diet can assist in reducing lung cancer risk, eating a healthy diet. Taking precautions to reduce exposure to carcinogens in the workplace will help prevent lung cancer. I want to go back to a conversation I heard at this table talking about, y'all don't know what the subject was, but they said something about your zip code affects whatever the subject matter was. Now, health outcomes are also affected by where you live, by your zip code, because in Jackson, Mississippi, we have more services than probably, McLean, Mississippi, or wherever else that's so rural. So zip codes have a lot to do with it, not just health outcomes, but poverty, transportation issues, and I can go on and on about zip codes. So let's dive into what actually is a lung cancer screening. So an important thing to remember is lung cancer screening does not prevent cancer, but it does help detect it early, which is most important. What is a screening? It's a test with a low dose computed tomography. I can say that word. So it's a low-dose CT or LDCT. The screening can identify small nodules, which are cancerous tissues in your body, or other abnormalities, not just in the lungs, but also other places in your body. And again, it detects cancer early. So this is kind of what it looks like. This is what the low-dose CT scan equipment looks like. So this, I haven't seen one yet, but my understanding is this cylinder, which is not nearly as thick as an MRI, just comes over you and takes a quick snapshot. And I'll tell you here in a second, I think it's 10 seconds as long as it takes. And you're in an open air environment, unlike an MRI, which I've had several in it. Whew, I don't want to talk about it. So this is what happens if you come to UMC for your lung cancer screening. You get a 15-minute visit with a specialized clinic doctor, which is more than likely Jonathan. So we want to ensure that the person wanting a screening qualifies, which I'll get into on the next slide. And they walk you through what this process looks like, kind of what I just did on that previous slide. And if they are current smokers, we offer cessation, answer any questions or concerns, of course. And the exam is non-invasive. It's my understanding there's not even blood work done. It only takes about 10 seconds to complete. No needles, no sticks, no dyes, nothing. And again, it's an open air environment. So again, I'll tell you, it's a low dose. Oh, did I just do that one? Yep. Sorry. So, who should be screened? Looking around the room, most everybody qualifies with number one, which ages of 50 and 80, a current smoker with or have quit within 15 years, and a 20-pack or more year history of smoking. So that is 1 pack a day for 20 years or 2 packs a day for 10 years. So there are some risks. The screenings aren't perfect. I don't know why I did that. Some cancers may be missed, which is a false negative. Some cancers may look like a cancer but are not, false positive. And there's a small amount of radiation used. You'll be exposed to low doses of radiation. The doses are a bit higher than X-ray, but lower than a regular CT scan. And the perspective of this is the amount of radiation from the scan is not much higher than from a traditional X-ray. So what are the benefits? Of course, I'll say it again, detect lung cancer early, where it's more curable. It leads to a possible 20% decrease in lung cancer mortality. Lung cancer screening might also detect other conditions of disease, as I said earlier, that affects your body. Survival rates are extended when a screening detects cancer early, including a 7% decrease in all-cause mortality. So just a quick recap. It does not prevent cancer if you get screened. You can schedule a lung cancer screening if you're between 50 and 80, a current smoker, former smoker and quit within 15 years, and have a 20-pack year history. And I probably haven't said that. I need to change this presentation. This is an annual screening. That's basically what we're promoting. Especially if you hit these qualifiers, annual screening is what we recommend. So again, it uses low-dose CT. It leads to early detection and better survival rates. So pretty much all the hospitals in Jackson, the metro, do screen for lung cancer. It's important to know that all hospitals do not screen for lung cancer. Now, you see these hospitals. The other thing we're doing within this grant is we had a pretty intense interview process with hospitals across the state. I think we did 10. And from that 10, we reduced it to 6. So what we're going to do with those 6 sites is we're going to help them with their marketing, their promotion, how they can increase their annual screenings. And we pretty much have a good coverage of the state. The only thing is it's 6 sites, and we're not going to work on 6 per year. We're going to do 2 per year. It's going to make it easier for the short staff that we have to work with them. But We're doing it from afar at UMC. We're not like an official site, but because we're doing it from UMC, we kind of know how we can help UMC with this process.
Where in UMC is it?
It's at the Cancer Center. Sometimes there's no. I'm sorry. It's on campus, but I'm not sure where. The Cancer Center is at the Medical Mall.
So it's medical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the screening is on campus.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the tobacco support group. If you know somebody that's smoking that's trying to quit, it's every Wednesday from 12 to 1. It's at the ACT Center at the Jackson Medical Mall. I think she's got a group of about 6 right now, but the good thing is they keep coming back. So that's a positive for us. So again, we'd love for y'all to join the roundtable. You just get more information about what's going on, see our rates, where we're going to be, and things of that nature. But just to collaborate, tell stories. Anybody that's a lung cancer survivor, we'd love to talk to grab their stories. So thanks for your time again, since I was here a couple years ago, and I'll take any questions you have and try to answer them. Jeff?
Roughly what percent of people smoke now as compared to a generation? I remember when everybody smoked, or a vast majority.
You know, I could have told you that some years ago. Our rate has continued to decrease, but our vaping rate is going up. But we're somewhere around 20%, I think. It may be 18. I can't remember, but again, zip codes affect that as well too.
Zip codes cost,
Is it covered by insurance, Medicare?
Yeah, most insurance does cover it.
To get screening once a year?
Mm-hmm. Correct. And we charge a minimum fee at UMC. It's like $99.
that was my question, how much does it cost?
Yeah, but different hospital systems charge different prices. And I don't know how they come up with that. I'm sure it's cost analysis. Who knows?
So you said that 5-year survival rate is 64%?
Correct. If it's detected early.
Like, what was it a generation ago? How much improvement are we getting in survival rates?
I pretty much think, I think all cancers are decreasing. I think lung is a very tricky one because it's in your respiratory area. I need to get that number though. That's a good question. And realize this is like my 6th time, and I've been here since March. So I'm learning something new every day that I need to research.
Do y'all have a relationship with the state's anti-smoking program?
So to answer that, it was the Partnership for Healthy Mississippi, and they lost their funding this past year. So there's not one that exists. The closest thing that we have is the ACT Center.
They lost their funding, but they have not laid off the people. They're just hanging on with no money. I was asking about that. The nonprofit I started originally has a program they manage, and the person that works there is still employed, but not getting paid because the health department hasn't laid them off and told them they're not going to receive.
Gotcha.
So you think that money is all gone, canceled, or just held up?
I tell you, I'm pretty. So I spent 15 years at the partnership. I'm not well versed in it anymore. I'd hate to speak into that, not knowing. I haven't talked to anybody there in 8 years or so. So I'm way distanced from that, and especially how they're operating, if they're still operating. Correct. It did, but what happened was the money that the legislature gave to the partnership through the settlement was then redirected to the Department of Health, that they expend the funds. So again, I just know they lost their funding. I'm not sure how they're operating. Yes, ma'am.
I've got one more question.
You want to?
On the vaping, just because I have school-age kids,
Well, it's getting worse because they're getting smarter with their advertising, their flavors. It's the same thing with the cigarette and menthol back in the day. You know, and you can buy any flavor of vaping you want, and it's yeah, and it's just it's easy. I've never tried it, so I can't speak into that either. But I know when I'm behind a car and I see this big, I'm like, how can that be enjoyable? But I don't know.
And it's
But
contributing just as much to the incidence of lung cancer, just like it was with.
we don't know that yet. They're still testing. There's so many other chemicals in vaping. They're still just trying to research it and study it. And just going back to when all this stuff started with smoking, back years ago. They're at the same place basically with vaping. But I think they're doing an outstanding job.
Is it recommended to get lung cancer screening for everyone once a year, meaning from ages 50 to 80 or only high risk?
Yes, it's recommended for ages 50 to 80, no matter their smoking history.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna make a point. When I first started working as an engineer, I'd go to meetings, and I would be the only non-smoker
Sure.
in the room. The room, you fill with cigar smokers. Let me tell you, that was just,
Yeah.
but I'm just fortunate that I never took it up. Both my parents were smokers, and my dad died of lung cancer.
Yeah.
So,
Fortunate that you didn't take it up. Unfortunate that you were around secondhand smoke so much.
but I survived 84 years.
Good.
So I'm very fortunate.
Good.
So I think I know the answer to this, but we have a ban on smoking in public buildings in Mississippi, right?
State-owned buildings, yes.
Okay, so it's not all on.
Now, that's what I worked on, is try to statewide smoke-free indoor air policy. That failed. So I would say, again, it goes to where you live and what's socially acceptable, in my mind.
So, but private businesses can opt, they're not required to be smoke-free. They just volunteer to be smoke-free. The city of Richmond requires.
Yeah, there are
Right.
there are cities that
That do.
say restaurants and bars have to be smoke-free.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was just curious why the casinos seem to assist.
There's a provision in there about casinos. Yeah.
Can lung cancer develop through any other way other than breathing?
Well, no. Again, not being a medical person, I can't really speak into that, but I'll find that answer out. But I would think not. What?
Aren't there new techniques, what they call biotargeting, that is helping to reduce cancer mortality, lung cancer mortality?
Say that one more time.
There are new chemotherapies
Mhm.
where they send in they're targeting the cancers with sort of biomarkers, and it's reducing lung cancer mortality drastically.
Is that a question? It's yeah.
I just know I have a cousin who smoked 2 packs a day, and he's like 72, he got cancer. I'm like, okay, well, he's gone. And then, like 3 months, he's like, I'm cured, and they got some new biotherapy targeting, and he's
There is,
fine.
you know, back years ago when I was volunteering a lot for the Cancer Society, they were developing a pill for a certain type of lung cancer that you could take, and it would basically put you in remission. I don't know what happened with that though.
You mentioned radon. I don't know anything about that. Is that naturally evenly distributed and could happen anywhere, or is it worse in some parts of the country?
That's a good point. Yeah.
rocky geography,
Yeah.
certain types of rocks. I mean, if
You're
you
right.
put
Yeah.
your house on a, crappy acid clay, you probably got less chance.
Correct. Well, that's one thing. Yeah.
No rocks in our state, so we're okay.
Anybody else? Thanks for having me.
Remind my group
I need
to
my.
meet.
Thank you, Langston, for educating us on.
I think
you Yes.
educated me.
Yes.
There's a sign-up sheet for Reading at Walton on the sign-in table. If you can, there are slots that are open, please sign up if you're available. It only takes like 20 minutes.
Sure. Yes, we will.
And the Star Student Group will meet when we adjourn.
Okay. Today?
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Right now.
On behalf of our club members, I would like to present you with a mug.
Thank you.
It's created by a local artist.
Yes, I could tell that.
Hope you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for coming. A quick recap of last week's announcements. On Friday, October 24, our club will be serving a meal to our friends at Shower Power. A sign-up sheet is up front if you would like to help. We need about 8 to 10 volunteers. The next announcement is about RILA. Applications for the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards retreat will open on October 1st. We hope to send 1 or 2 students, so if you have anyone in mind, please let me know. The retreat will be held at Twin Lakes Conference Center in Florence, Mississippi, and is open to high school students in grades 10 to 12. I guess that's all the announcements. If there is no other business, we'll adjourn the meeting with the club motto. Who serves the most?